Welcome to Lesson 2, where we're going to look at your WordPress settings and give you a better idea of how the WordPress dashboard works as a blog owner. So from this page, you can just click Login to get into your site. And all you have to do here is enter the username and password that you created in the first step. So mine was Small Biz Tips for You, and I had a password. And I'm just going to click Remember Me so we can log in there. And here we are on the dashboard of this website. Now this is the first time I'm visiting the dashboard, so it will give me this little pop-up here saying you're now at your blog's dashboard, blah blah blah. And it's just giving you some tips on remembering how to get back here. So if you're ever in doubt, this is the key message right here, that your dashboard address is always the name of your blog. So in my case, smallbiztipsforyou.wordpress.com/wp-admin. So if you ever forget, you can just bookmark that or write it down somewhere, and then you can always get into the back office. It's quite simple. And then there's some other technical links there for you. So just close that message. And in this lesson, what I want to do is show you all of the general WordPress settings that you're going to need to familiarize yourself with. So to do that, we're going to scroll down here, and you'll see there's a bunch of menus on the left side. You make it a little bit bigger, and you click on Settings. The first thing you're brought to is the General Settings window for your WordPress account. And you can just see that down here at the bottom left. It says General. There's a few things we want to look at here. First thing is your website or your blog title. By default, it just puts your username in there, but really what you want to do here is put in some very descriptive keywords that describe what this website is all about. These keywords will help you when it comes to being found by search engines like Google. So I'm just going to make something up here. This is going to be a business tips blog, so let's actually put those words in there. Small business tips blog. And I could actually add a little bit more to a title here, but for now, that's pretty good. Those are some good keywords: small business, business tips, and so on. And then you have a tagline. This is basically a description of your website. This is also a spot where you might want to put some additional keywords. You have a little bit more room to work with here. So for my tagline, I'm going to say something like helping small business owners get the most out of their time and effort. So we got the site title, the tagline, and then your email address, which I've blacked out here, but this is your administrative email. If somebody makes a comment on your blog, or if anything else happens where you need to be notified that something has gone on, this is the address you want to put in there. So maybe you registered for WordPress.com with an address you don't use all that often, and you have, let's say, a Gmail address that you check 3 times a day. That's the address you're going to want to put in here, is the one you're going to be checking frequently, because you want to know everything that happens on your blog. Now let's move over to the second set of settings I want to talk about, which is reading, right here. For the purposes of this lesson, I just want to point out 2 critical or key settings here in your reading section. The first one is blog pages show at most. Now when you're talking about your blog, this is probably going to be your home page. How many posts do you want to show at a time? By default, it sets it to 10. So if you have 10 articles, it'll show all 10 of them in a summary view. But if you have a blog with 100, only your 10 most recent posts will show up at the top. So if you're just getting started and you maybe have only 5 or 6, maybe you just show the latest 2 or 3. It's up to you how many you want to put there. Then we're going to scroll down here and talk about email settings. This is a really good feature because if people come to your blog and they like what you're talking about, it's much easier for those readers to simply subscribe to notifications rather than checking your blog every day. They can just get a notification in their email saying, hey, this blog has some new information or a new post, go and check it out. Here, when they fill in their email address to subscribe to your blog, they're going to be greeted with an automated message saying you must confirm that you want to receive updates from us. So put your own little personalized message in here and then click Save Changes. And then the last option we're going to talk about here is sharing. Now sharing is another key component of your blog settings because These sharing options are what makes it easy for people to share your content across the web, usually through social networks. So what you can do is you can look at all the available services here, and in some cases you might even want to add a service. By default, they give you kind of the biggest social sites, and you want to make all of these available on your blog so that when people come, they can tweet it to their friends or Facebook it to their friends. So at a bare minimum, I recommend adding an email share and a Facebook, Twitter, and I'm literally just dragging and dropping here, and dig. And for fun, well, let's do Stumble Upon as well. It's a pretty big site. And then what happens is it gives you a preview of this is what it's going to look like on your website. When you have a new blog post, people will be able to email it to their friends or Facebook it or Stumble it or so on. And you can mess around here with the different styles as to how these buttons will appear. I kind of like the way WordPress does it out of the box, so I just leave it. But it's up to you. If you want to tweak some of those settings, do it. But definitely make sure you take a look and think about your sharing settings, because that's what helps make your content go viral. That's the end of lesson 2.